How many galleries have you had since then?
Well, actually, you just figured it out the other day when we were talking about uh, the place in Delano, and there's 20 of them. Delano will be 20. But the very first one, I don't even know, was that called Gallery Contrast?
I named
And
it
you named it.
because you had absolutely no theme, no anything. Everything you painted was very different from everything else.
It was the
And
first
so it was
time.
gallery contrast.
It was all the first time. Gallery Contrast. And I painted in there, and it was storefront. Anybody could see me and walking by. And lo and behold, somebody did walk by. And what did he want? He wanted a painting done, a commission of the bridge between
Budapest.
Pest,
Between Buda and
between
Pest.
Buda and Pest.
Yes.
I said, fine, and this and that, and we talked, and then I came home to you, and as usual, I said, where do I find? So you went to the New York Library.
And got a photo of the bridge between Buda and Pest.
And I painted.
And he paid you.
And there you helped me a little, I must say. I mean, I really wasn't into bridges at that point. And we put a few figures on it and whatnot and brought it back. And sure enough, guy came in and said, how much? And this and that. And I think I then was up to $100, something like that. And he said yes. I almost dropped on the spot. He said, will you sign it? And I don't know what I said at the time. I said, yes, why don't you come on back and, tomorrow or something like that and pick it up. And you came down. I told you this story. And we were both in the gallery. She said, well, just sign it. You said sign it. And I walked outside, and we had the MG, the red MG, sitting right outside. And I leaned on the MG with the canvas and thinking, well, I got to sign this canvas. This is ridiculous. Of course, all the works up until then, I had signed nothing. And I looked down the street, and there was the big sign across Bleecker Street, still on Sullivan, of the theater showing what's over the longest running show in New York. At the not the Cherry Lane.
Yeah, I can't think of the
The
What
Fantastics.
Fantastics.
Fantastics. I look, and here it's Fantastics, how it's written, and that became the signature. And I signed Hollander as Fantastics, and it's sort of stayed ever since.
You were fantastic.
That was your
all
idea
right.
too, by the way.
I know.
You're a big cause in all of this.
Blame it all on me. No matter what happens, it's all my fault.
At this point, do you really think I was going to be a painter in any way? What were you thinking? What?
I was wondering how much a divorce lawyer would cost. And I wasn't sure I could get the money to do it.
You know I would have pulled in my horns if you had ever threatened anything like that.
No, I didn't.
Well, I'm glad you didn't know, because I would have. And that's the way we've always gone on, sort of. You say no, no, no to almost everything and every idea, but it's really looking as the devil's advocate and looking at all the other sides.
You're the devil and I'm the advocate?
Could be, but you don't know how much that it actually helps, because you give me all the reasons that something shouldn't be, but you're not saying no, you're just saying, well, to me you're not saying no. You're just giving me advice and giving me all the little particulars around the edge, out of which much comes. I still go do it. But anyway, there we were. God did a crawl. I didn't listen. I found that was the only gallery, I think, out of the 20, maybe I'm wrong, at least 15 that I found. Because I can remember you coming into that little gallery contrast while I'm painting and say, hey, I want to show you something. Tell me about
As
it.
I said, it's all my fault.
Tell me about it.
All right, over on Bleecker Street, there was a great, wonderful, huge space that was empty because a friend of mine who had been supplying all the goodies for giveaway shows had been, I don't know, picked up by the cops or something.
No, that's the
or other.
time there was the bust and the giveaway shows, and the whole thing turned out to be everybody had the answers, and it was all a setup. And so there
Yeah.
was a big, big thing in all the news,
Big scandal. Anyway, the place suddenly was empty.
right next to the Circle in the Square on
Right
Bleecker
next
Street.
to the Circle
right
in
around the
square.
corner.
And
You know how big that was?
big.
That was 4,000 square feet between the first and the second floor.
So all of a sudden we had a larger gallery.
That was an interesting one. That
And you
was
proceeded to paint in the back end, and every night at the intermission of the Circle of the Square, everybody from the theater would come in and watch you paint.
if not everybody, pretty much everybody.
Pretty much everybody. What else were they to
And
do
all of a
for
sudden things began to
15-minute
happen.
intermission?
Things began to happen. Getting that gallery was something because we really didn't have any money anyway. And I remember looking in the window and saying, "Are you kidding? How the hell can I take this?" Go speak to him. I did. His name was Robbins. And I forget his wife's name now. Actually, I'm corresponding a little with his son now on email. Right
Small
now.
world.
Hmm?
Small world.
Well, that's email. And I said, "Listen, I haven't got any money." I was very straight with him and going, "We were filmmakers, da 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 da. I know what you're doing. You're using this as a storage outfit for all these goods, and you're trying to get rid of the goods and whatnot. If I take it over from you and we set the rent, I will clean up the whole place because you're getting rid of
Paint the
anything. I'll
walls.
paint all the walls. You'll have clean walls. You'll have a space that you'll be able to rent. Give me 2 weeks into the next month. 2 weeks after I'm finished painting the walls and open the place. And if I don't pay, it's yours and the place is cleaned." And that's how we started. And we made it. We made it because of the break in the theater at the intermission. Everybody rolled out, and instead of going into the cafes or getting a hot dog on Bleecker Street or whatever, in order to get away from the tourist crowds that were developing, wandered into the gallery because here was a cultural thing next to the Circle and Square, which was a great, great theater, by the way. So it was a great crowd, and all kinds of things happened. Enough things happened that rents got paid, and we began to think, whoops, what's next? And that's where going to Spain came in with Fritz.